Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Fine.
A little tired, but doing all right. Just gonna go outside here. Okay, so I just thought I would just put it as a discussion. We don't have to necessarily debate, but I had originally thought we could. Since you wanted to debate, so we could debate like which one's more valid.
Yeah.
So I would say that I think Christianity and its basic tenets, while you might say a better fit for the way we see the world in terms of a personal God and that humans are personal creatures. Humans are individuals. Humans are reasoning creatures, separate from the rest of creation. Versus, I'm not sure. I know Hinduism has what 3,000 gods. I don't know. Are you familiar with Ravi Zacharias at all? Have you heard of him?
Um, Sorry, what did you say me?
Have you? Are you familiar with or have you heard of Ravi Zacharias?
No, I didn't hear. I didn't hear about that.
Okay. Well, no, he's a Christian apologist that he came from India. He's from the one of the high classes in India. He's from the he's a descendant of the priesthood, I think, something like that. But he converted. He came to the U.S. and he converted when he was like 21 or something. And so now he's a Christian apologist, very famous one, very good one.
I see.
So, anyways, what would you have to say about it? I guess. So I just want to keep this to like 30 minutes or so.
Okay. Well, you see, as per the constitution or as per the constitution of each and every country, I think normally in democratic countries, right to freedom is being given to each and everyone. That means they consider that each and every religion is equal. Each and every religion has got a equal standard. So now the question arises over here that why this particular question that which has got more validity, like it Christian or Hinduism, which has got more validity? Why this question has to arise? It is because probably in the present world, people always require a better option. I mean to say is that people always want to acquire the highest and the highest facility. So people doesn't want people doesn't want anything which has got some faults. Now probably some people are finding many faults that we have in Hinduism, and so they try to go for Christianity. And again, it may be that many people doesn't like the religion of Christianity, so they have come into Hinduism. So it depends actually upon the people which they like and which they don't. It completely depends on the likes and dislikes of the people whatsoever. But on the validity of Hinduism, I'll just say that this Hinduism is not based on only many gods, or this Hinduism is not based on just the mythological narrations. Actually, this particular existence of Hinduism can be traced back to thousands and thousands of years back. And the question is that how can we trace back? We have got the Puranas, we have got the Vedas, we have got Ramayanas, we have got the Mahabharata, and even the truth of Ramayana, the truth of Mahabharata, and lifelong, and the real existence. I mean, whether this particular epics occurred in the past or not, we've got evidence about that. We normally term Sri Lanka to be the main site where Ramayana was. Where Ramayana took place. So these all particular events that are being mentioned in our holy books can still provide some evidences that this particular incidents occurred. Now, the holy books that we have in Hinduism, like the Vedas, the Puranas, they teach love. They teach people to love one another. This particular religion books, they make people aware of the next generation. This particular books make people know their future, in the sense that they can hope for a better future if they can hope for a better present. If the religious books of Hinduism states that if I walk, if I walk for a better present at this time, or if I work for my benefit at the present, or if I work honestly, responsibly, and with sincerity at the present, probably my future would be better. This particular book teaches to spread love all over the world. In Hinduism, the main thing out of which we provide more importance is the love. In Hinduism, the main thing that they
Okay, let
provide
me,
for is the love. Okay.
if I can interrupt you there. In Christianity, we say we believe that God is the all determiner, the moral lawgiver, right? What is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is evil. Where in Hinduism, because you started out by saying all religions are equal, I think. Is
Yeah.
that okay? But all religions actually oppose each other, correct? Because all religions, and you debated on Islam against Islam, right? The teachings of Islam. So
Yeah.
if they contradict each other, how can they all be equal?
Well, you see, all religions are equal. I mean to say is that because each and every religion teaches us only one thing: to spread love and unity among the people. Actually, thing is that we sometimes get a misconception. What you were talking about Islam, I would just like to say that there is a misconception of many people. Even I think so, it is also me, that Islam means terrorism. Sometimes that particular conception occurs. This people think that Muslims or Islams indirectly or directly means terrorism. But so to say, Islam means peace. I don't know much about the Quran because I'm not a Muslim, but as per my knowledge, Islam means peace. Thing is that there are certain sections of people who have transformed the meaning of Islam into terrorists. It is not the religion which has done it, but it is the people who have transformed the meaning of Islam into some other meaning. So it is
Okay,
the fault of the people.
well, if you have a large group of individuals that believe the same basic religious system, and you're saying that it's just the people, it's not the religion, I don't think that's valid. I think it's got to do something with the religion. It's kind of like Karl Marx's birthday was on 200th birthday was on Sunday, and it seems that everybody that tries to institute Marxism ends up in mass slaughter and murder. But the Marxists want to say, "Oh, that's just the individuals that did it. That's got nothing to do with Marxism." But you got to think, well, maybe it has something to do with Marxism after all. If every single time it's tried, it results in mass slaughter. Where the same thing with Islam, and I'm not obviously not all Muslims are wicked or anything by any means, but you have large, enormous groups in the tens of millions that follow Islam and tend to believe things like the Hadith, where it does say it's not a religion of peace; it's a religion of war. And Islam itself was spread by the sword. So Muhammad, he conquered. He didn't go out like Christianity. They went out and they preached. They didn't conquer anybody. They went out and they conquered through the word. Islam conquered through violence and the sword. So I don't see Islam as a religion of peace by any means. And I'd also point out that Christianity does not just teach love, right? Christianity says it's got a basic tenets, the good news, the gospels. Man was created perfect, but he was given free will. He chose evil, or he sinned, and then God had a perfect plan that he was born of a virgin, and that he lived the perfect life and died for the sins of mankind, and that you must believe in him in order to be saved. So Christianity is not just a religion that teaches peace, but it's a religion that says man is evil. This is how the only way that he can be saved.
Well, um, what I consider Hinduism to be one of the things, like, Hinduism. I don't know whether Hinduism teaches peace or not, because in this particular ages I am
Well, I
now
mean,
at
love.
least 17 years old.
It's not. It's not.
Okay,
It's like
I'm
you
at
said. Kind of the same
yeah.
thing. But that's not like Christianity doesn't just love, love, love. We're talking about love and truth and justice and things like that.
Yeah, that means what I was saying is that, if I talk about Hinduism particularly, the religion actually the religion actually is based to service of humans. Actually, Hinduism follows the motto that service to human is probably service to God. Actually, there is a misconception every time that actually what is Hinduism. People actually do not know the meaning of Hindus, and they actually confuse the word like Hinduism. Actually, what happens? Hinduism is an amalgamation of various cultures together. Some people worship Madhugra, some people worship Lord Krishna, some people worship Lord Balaram, some people worship Hanuman, some people worship Lord Rama, some people worship some other god and goddesses, but it doesn't separate the people among them. Each and everyone is a Hinduism in that sense. So Hinduism is an amalgamation of various cultures, and that has provided diversity. As we know that variety is a spice of life, so Hinduism provides a diversified Indian culture. And in India, there is a maximum people who follows Hinduism, because Hinduism provides a diverse culture. Here, one can exchange the culture of one another. I'm in Assam. My culture of Assam is not the same culture that I have in Gujarat. The culture of Gujarat and culture of Assam are different, though the religion between both are the same. So here we get a diversified culture. Today, no doubt, Christianity is spread all over the world. Christianity is spread all over the world, but in India, till date, Christianity has not been able to acquire that much position or that much popularity like that of the Hinduism, because the Hindu gods or goddesses that we had from the previous ages and all, those goddesses, they represent power, they represent strength, some represent love, some represent cruelty. So according to various feelings, various issues, we have various gods. So for like, we have got the sun god, we have got the rain god, we have got the wind god event, we have got the god for fire event. So for various things, various items, we have got different gods and which we worship. So Hinduism also provides a diversified culture. It also provides diversity.
Now, Hinduism is that you die and you're reborn as either a higher or a lower level being, correct? Reincarnation.
Yeah, Hinduism follows that. I mean, Hinduism says about incarnation, and according to Hinduism, the Lord Vishnu, he had got 10 incarnations, starting from Matsya, Kurma, Bara, and starting from Matsya, it ends in Kalki. So these are the 10 incarnations that have taken place or will take place in this particular world. It talks about incarnation.
So, is there any evidence for that? Because we have the Christians, we have actual written eyewitness testimony in the four Gospels plus Paul.
Yes, we have evidences. Evidences in the sense, I would not go to any more incarnations. Like, I think so. You have heard about Lord Rama. I think so. The Ramayana. So the incident of Ramayana, whether it is true or not, I don't have to justify, because the Sri Lankan Ramayana Research Center, it has found out that during the Ramayana incident, the stone bridge, okay, there was a stone bridge which was made by Lord Rama connecting India and Sri Lanka, and the stone bridge still exists at present, and the stone bridge is estimated to be 10,000 years ago. Still, we have got the empire of Lord Ravana in Sri Lanka. Still, we have got the empires of Lord Rama in Ayodhya. So these all evidences the Lord Rama existed, and yes, there was an incident like that of I mean, like that of the Ramayana. So that is the evidences of the Ramayana, which evidences that Lord Rama existed, whom we consider to be one of the incarnations of Lord Vishnu.
Okay, but you have evidence that somebody existed, but that doesn't provide any evidence that he was reincarnated. Like Jesus existed. Everybody, I think pretty much all historians will agree that Jesus existed. That the question is whether or not he had any deity in him. So was he God? Now the Christian, we believe that Jesus was God, not that he was like some aspect of God or he had the potential of being God or the way that other religions view it, but that he was God. But we have evident, eyewitness testimony that he died. We know he died historically, and we have eyewitness testimony that he rose again, that he was seen immediately after, his body was never found, etc. So the question
Well,
is, somebody, you say
you
he existed 10,000 years ago. You have a bridge that he built, but there's plenty of bridges out there. Beyond that, beyond his existence, what can you say?
beyond his existence, fine. If you have to talk about the incarnations, whether they existed or not, this is not what I'm talking about. This is not what I'm talking about just as a belief of people. It's not the belief, but it's the written evidences that we find in our Vedas. It's a written evidence that we find in the Puranas. It's not my statement or it's not a statement made by people. It's what is written in our religion, in our religious books. As in the Bible, we have got many things. So Christians people believe the Bible. So, as like the Bible, we people believe the Puranas, we people believe the Vedas, we people believe the Ramayanas, the Bhagavad Gitas, the Mahabharatas, and over there it states the existence of reincarnation of Lord Vishnu. So this is not the statement which I made it, but it was what is written in our holy books, in our religion books, and I believe that each and every people of this world they think that the religion books that they have or the books their religion is to follow they never speak lie, they never provide false evidences, they are always true. So I found it, or we people find it in the Hinduism religion books about the reincarnations.
Okay, but the Bible is what we believe truth in evidence. That is, again, that you actually have writings outside the Bible that speak of Jesus, and that at least his followers believed he died and rose again. And so you have a significant amount of evidence and reason to provide evidence to believe that indeed Jesus died and rose again. Inside the Bible and outside the Bible. So we call it truth and evidence, historical evidence. But is there any evidence in Hinduism in reincarnation? I mean, we could just start there.
Okay, if you talk about reincarnation, reincarnation is what it's just the getting of a new life. So the evidence can be traced in the Puranas, in the Vedas, and in our holy books. If you ask me whether the evidences can be traced beyond our holy books, then I say probably not at present time, but it
Okay.
may be in due course of time.
So it sounds like a no. So how how do you define good and evil? Like, who defines good and evil?
How do we define good and evil?
Yeah,
Actually,
because you have to be good to reincarnated, right? To be reincarnated to a
yeah,
higher. So how
yes.
would I know? How would I know that I'm doing good and I'm going to
Well,
reincarnate as a higher level being?
yeah, when I talk about good beings, or whenever I talk about virtue, not vice, the virtue, that means one who tries to provide service to the human beings, one who tries to provide service to the human beings, never hampering any other animal or any other human being. That person is termed to be a good person. I mean, who never tries to hurt any other beings, whether it be
Why?
living or non-living.
Why?
And
Why?
the second is, um,
And
You're
also,
asking me
isn't
why?
it
Okay.
yeah, so if to reincarnate to a higher level, aren't you like if you are a slug or you're in the lower class, aren't you kind of paying for past sins of your past life?
Can I get a question back
Oh
once more?
yeah, so if you're in a lower class, right? The Hindu, the well, you have three classes basically, or
Yeah, no, no. Actually, Hinduism doesn't devise caste. No, it's actually is a misconception. Hinduism have never got caste system. Actually, caste system is what we have the caste system in Indian tradition, not in Hinduism. Actually, we have got a four caste system, and it is true that we have got lower class and higher class, Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishyas. It's true that we have got a four class system, but this class system doesn't differentiate between the good and the evil. You cannot say the people belonging to higher caste are always good and to the lower caste are not good. No, even we have got stories which relates that God, even Lord Krishna, sometimes had to take the had to transform to into a very had got transformed into a lower class people. At times, even God had got transformed into lower class people, so as to perform some activities. So we can't say that basis on the caste system, people are getting reincarnated or not. I'm not saying that. Actually, Hinduism doesn't follow caste system, but the Indian tradition does. So actually, it's a misconception over here. And you're asking me why the ones who doesn't do any harm to the human beings or to any other animals, they consider as good people because they never tries to hurt others. When they do not hurt others, that means they have a heart which can live for others. That means they love others. They want to spread their love all over the world. So they have been considered as good. And the vice who always tries to harm others, who always tries to hamper others, who always becomes a hindrance to others, so they are considered as vice or bad. So those bad people never get incarnated. That's what.
but who decides? Who decides that that's the way it should be?
Who decides? It's not the God who decides, but it is the works of people who decide. What we see in our religion as karma. Karma means what? If we have done something good works, obviously it is the nature who decides that we are going to get incarnated. If we do something wrong or if we don't do something good, then it is the nature itself which will not allow us to get revert.
But how do I know what's good and what's evil? Like who decides what is good? Because you said good, but I'm just wondering who decides what
Yeah,
is good.
who decides good is the human beings. Who decides good is the nature. Who decides good is the living beings residing in the nature. If
Well, what?
today, for example, if I try to hurt someone and he got hurt, if I try to beat someone and he got hurt, that means I am doing something wrong because the other person is getting harmed. So whenever I do anything which will harm the others, it says that that is a bad thing. And if I can do something which would benefit the others, that's a good thing.
What if I think harming them is a good thing? It's good for
If
humanity.
okay, if you think harming is good for humanity, that may be true. Because if I harm the terrorists, then it's the good for society. If I go and kill the evil people in society, that means it's good for society. So it depends upon whom we hurt. It depends upon how we hurt, and it depends upon why we hurt. So there are various things which will come into consideration over here. So
How do I
that
know
in
though?
in
Because I
that
mean,
way.
if so, let's say I believe this group of people is bad for humanity and they shouldn't breed. Because I just watched Human Zoos last night. I went to the Seattle premiere of Human Zoos, and interesting film. The kind of racist beginnings of Darwinism. And some people believe that stamping out certain races is good for humanity. If I believe that,
Well, if actually the thing is that people should know at the first what is humanity. Even a doctor, actually, even a doctor requires humanity to treat a human. A doctor cannot just get the title of doctor and treat the patients. No, to treat the
Well,
patients, even he requires humanity. So humanity is something which is embedded in the humans itself. Humanity is in me, in my heart. Humanity is in your heart. It is there each and every one heart. Just we require to focus it out. Just we require
well,
to reach our heart and get it.
well, we have people here in the U.S. like Peter Sanger and stuff that say a human is below the level of a pig until it reaches 3 months or some arbitrary age, right? Kind of people making their own truth and making their own morality. If they follow their own belief systems, is that okay?
See, society is there. Society actually we don't require to. I mean, society do not require us, but we people require society. Now, in society, not only we have got uneducated persons, also we have got literate persons. So if they make something, or if they make their own beliefs, if they make their own belief system, probably they would not make such system which would hamper the nation or which would hamper society. Probably the belief system which the society creates at the point of time,
Eh,
probably it would be benefited for the people and benefited for the society. So I don't think the society will
mm,
take any decision. Okay, go on.
not necessarily, because I mean we know people create systems that are meant to harm. Uh,
Yeah, they are meant to harm. Actually, if society creates something which are meant to be harm, then we should take the initiative to throw it out and bring the society towards a new goal, bring the society towards a new system. So because actually it is all about this modifications. The generations that we had in the past, they believe some systems, so those systems cannot be believed at present. So I have to take the initiative as a youth. I have to take the initiative to bring a new system into existence in society. So after generations we require modifications. So it will go in. It is just a process that goes on every time.
okay, well, do you have any questions that you wanted to ask? So we'll just go a couple more minutes, and then I got to run. But
uh if I have to ask regarding Christianity, I will just ask you one thing. Christians, they believe Jesus, and in the worldwide we consider Jesus to be the birth of the. We have taken the birth of Jesus to divide our years, like I mean BC and AC, before Christ and Anno Domini. Now my question is that do you consider Jesus to be a god, or do you consider Jesus to be a preacher of religion? What do you
no,
consider Jesus?
the Christian. So Pope Gregory, and I don't know when, but he went back and they tried to calculate when they believed Jesus was born, and they came up with a time period. So there's no year zero, there's just kind of some arbitrary point of zero time in which BC, boom, birth of Christ, that instantaneous moment, and then AD. So that's how you separate. Now, it happens to be that actually they think that Christ was probably born in 4 or 5, somewhere between 4 and 7 BC. And the point was that the birth of Christ so changed society and the world that to respect them, they divided time. The birth of Christ is so important that that's the dividing point of time. And so to honor him, that Pope Gregory created the Western calendar. You have before Christ, and then the year of our Lord, Anno Domini. What was the exact question there?
So my question is that whether
Oh,
Jesus was a god or he was a
yeah.
religion preacher. Yeah.
No. No. Jesus is the God, not a God, but the God. So we have the Trinity, which is the teaching that there's one God, but he represents himself in 3 ways. He's like a 3-dimensional. So he lives outside time. He's beyond. He's infinite. He's beyond us. So this idea of how you can be 3 in 1, it's difficult to understand. It's not fully understandable in our 3-dimensional world. But we say God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. They're all one person, one God in 3 persons. So you have God the Father, God the Son, Jesus, and then God the Holy Spirit. And Jesus is the way God represented himself as fully God and fully man to come down and live a perfect life, be the perfect lambs. The Old Testament, they sacrifice lambs to cover the sins of the world, to cover the sins of the Jews. And then you have New Testament where Jesus came down once and he sacrificed himself as the perfect sacrifice acceptable to God, to not just cover the sins, but to really absorb the sins of the world. So now there's only one sin, and that is disbelief.
Well, fine. Okay. So sometimes we people actually this is my last question I want to ask you, that why do people in Christianity often term the God Jesus as God Father? Why do you use the word Father?
That's the way it is in the Bible. It says God the Father. And God is kind of a fatherly figure. So he's like the ultimate father. If you think of what a father is supposed to be to children and to people in general, the father he's the fatherly figure, and that's how God is to humanity as a whole. He's the giver of life. He's the protector. He is someone that you can talk to. He's written down in his word, and he speaks through his word, and he communicates that way with people. And so he is like a father the way we think of a father, but he's so much more because he is the creator of life. So in the Bible it says God the Father.
Well, I just want to conclude.
Okay. Jesus is God the Son. But...
Okay, well, I just want to conclude by only saying one thing, that in each and every religion we have got various beliefs. In each and every mythological narrations we find the existence of various other proofs of various other beliefs, various other systems whatsoever. But each and every religion in the world, I think it preaches only love. It preaches that people must be human. It preaches the truth. So I don't want to make disbalance between any religion. I just think that each and every religion in the world are at point of time equal. And probably if we just try to read the Bible and then compare it to the books of Hinduism, or if I try to read the books of Quran and try to compare with that of Bible and that of Hinduism, probably there would be a greater, there will be many things that will come in similar. For example, what we have been talking about, I mean, what we discussed sometimes regarding the great devastation that was created in the world. I mean, the Noah was created. So the same incident we can trace in our mythical narrations. So the same incidents can be traced in other books also. So probably there are many similarities between all the religions. There are similarities between all the religious books, and which states only one thing, that whatsoever or how many gods we have, but the only God that we have in the present world are the humans. So service to humans is service to God. So once we go in the path of humanity, once we try to serve the humanity, probably we can serve the gods. That's it.
Okay, well, I would just point out that not all religions are the same, that they contradict each other in major ways, that all religions believe they have the truth. In some way, yeah, there are similarities. They have, most religions have some sort of golden rule, but pretty much every religion says it is the way, in some manner. It says we have the truth, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, to be exclusive or something, it's not a big deal. Everybody is. In fact, the inclusives, people that say, oh, all religions are the same, actually tend to exclude the exclusives. So, but I would just say that so I'll just leave it with that. Say that not all religions are the same. Some, and I think most people would agree that some are better than others. So even the atheists like Dawkins says that Christians treat him better than atheists in most cases, but they definitely treat him better when he talks terribly about some religions, but not about Islam. So the untouchable religion.
Actually it is the belief of people. If today someone believes more strongly in Islam, probably Islam would get that higher position. If someone believes more strongly in Christianity, then Christianity is getting the higher position. So I think so. It all depends upon the belief of the people. So it is completely on the belief system of people.
Well, I think most people deep in their hearts understand there is one truth. And so it's not that I believe this and therefore it must be true to me. Moral relativism, moral truth is not truth. Like there is absolute truth. So there is one true faith.
Yeah.
But
What?
I'll let you
Okay.
go. So it looks nice out there.
Yeah.
It's actually sunny. So we had a good
Good day.
connection
Okay.
at least. So
Yeah. Fine. Okay. Okay.
all
Okay
right.
then. Thank you for
All
joining
right,
me in the
Jurassic.
debate.
Yep. Take care. God
Okay.
bless.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay.